Russian soldiers just actually surrendering on the spot.
Pause it. Head to bed. Walk it. Legs go in the morning. Gang gang, you heard. Head to bed. 7 in the morning, dog. Go out. Legs go another day. Unlock it. Walk it back up. Sit. Fuck. Shit. Go to down here. This pier. Look it back up. Press play.
I feel like a lot of people, myself included once again, expected this to be pretty easy for Russia, because on paper they have one of the biggest, best militaries on the planet. But a massive fault that nobody really could have anticipated is just how poorly they actually execute their objectives. They seem to have a massive amount of confusion when they try to actually, deploy troops. There seems to be a lot of issues in their, supplies. I mean, there's been reports of Russian vehicles running out of fuel and being abandoned on the side of Ukrainian streets. You've had straight up dozens of Russian soldiers just actually surrendering on the spot, basically to civilians even. It hasn't necessarily been a good time for Russia, and this counteroffensive is going to make it worse for them. The officials said many of the existing units, which Russia organizes into battlefield tactical groups or BTGs, comprising infantry, tanks, artillery, and air defense, are deploying below strength, some at even half their normal manpower. The U.S. has also been observing Ukrainian forces benefiting from the use of U.S. and NATO-supplied HIMARS mobile rocket launchers, which have allowed Ukraine to strike and destroy targets in Russian-held territory. CNN reported last week that U.S. and European officials say Ukraine has successfully used a method of resistance warfare developed by U.S. Special Operations Forces.
The mobile plan is good for you and the planet.
Of Ukraine's Crimean Peninsula in 2014. It provides a blueprint for smaller nations to effectively resist and confront a larger neighbor that has invaded. Neither Ukrainian nor U.S. officials are revealing the main targets of the expected counteroffensive. In recent weeks, Ukrainian forces have been making advances around the key southern city of Kherson, which is currently occupied by Russian forces. Kherson is considered crucial to the control of Ukraine's southern coast and access to the Black Sea. Ukrainian and Russian forces have also been engaged in intense fighting in recent days around the nuclear plant, Europe's largest in the city of Zaporizhzhia. Ukraine's nuclear operator Energoatom said Friday that the plant had been reconnected to Ukraine's electricity grid a day after the plant went offline for the first time in its history. Where is Ukraine going to start fighting? Where exactly are they targeting? Of course, they're not going to give the strategy up. They're not going to come to CNN and be like, oh, we're attacking here, there, and over there. Giving up your strategy, especially when you've been on the defensive the entire time and now is your chance to strike back, not a good idea. So it's very understandable that they're not really going to detail in plans like what exactly is going to happen. But what we do know from the intelligence that the West has been able to obtain, Ukraine is about to take the words fight back completely literally. Instead of fighting a completely defensive war where they just dig in and they just hold it out and hope that the Russians are finally going to leave them alone, Ukraine has shocked the world with its resilience. And it's actually been very inspiring, maybe one of the more inspirational stories of this year. The people of Ukraine are not fucking around. They do not care about Russia's goals. They do not care about Russia's objectives. They do not wish to be occupied in any way, shape, or form by the Russians. And the way Ukraine sees it, Crimea is still their territory. And the areas that Russia occupy are still their territories. And they're about to say fuck it and fight back. This is going to be a crucial turning point in the war because obviously if Russia's losses start to become too staggering to the point where it's not really worth them staying there, could we potentially see Russia retreat or try to make peace with Ukraine? And also, can Ukraine successfully counterattack? Will the Russians finally get some sort of foothold in the country and hold back the Ukrainian forces? This really could be the turning point in the Ukraine conflict because if Ukraine starts to push the Russians further away from the center of their country and they start taking back land, that's going to crush the already broken Russian war spirit. A lot of these soldiers didn't even know that they were going to Ukraine for a military operation. So they're already, bogged down by the losses that they've suffered. The war mentality for Russia isn't necessarily the best right now. This is something we've known for months. Realistically, the war morale wasn't that high to begin with. If Ukraine successfully counterattacks and starts really whipping Russia's ass in this way too, it could legitimately break them permanently, I feel like. Now, of course, I'm no war expert or anything, but I would imagine after you've been basically losing your objective for 6 months in a war you were supposed to win and didn't even know about, if you start getting pushed back, I can only imagine what that can do to your psyche, right? So we're going to have to wait and see what the Ukrainians really have in stock. Also, we're going to get a good, look into the effectiveness of these Western weapons in combat again. You got to think a pretty big part of the U.S. military strategy has been containing the threats in Russia and China. So to see our weaponry on display, in the Ukrainian conflict, I think really gives us a good idea of how, the West could respond to potential threats too. So far, Western weaponry that has been sent into Ukraine and used by the Ukrainian resistance forces has been legitimately critical in defending the country's sovereignty and making sure the Russians don't make any more advances. In fact, it really does play a pretty large part into why Ukraine has probably been able to hold out as long as they have. Anyway, with all that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like.
Because some things have changed in the background since the last time, and I've met with my YouTube rep in the meantime to kind of talk about some of the issues that I brought up in my video and to talk in general about feedback for YouTube and various other things that have been going on because the whole internet seems to have been rallying against YouTube on their own platform in the last week because of all the videos that have been coming out and it's become sort of a trend. to talk
Wonder
about
how
it and kind of
old
get your
you?
gripes out of the way,
20,
which I think is great.
22
I think
years
that's
old.
how change gets made.
What about you?
Because otherwise it just
16.
kind of gets lost, and then no one ever talks about it again. As we see with a lot of these topics, they trend very quickly and then they die off very quickly. So I wanted to kind of keep pressure on in a little bit of a
Do you
way.
have a boyfriend
But
or
also
a
explain some context
husband?
for some things that have happened.
I have a
since then,
husband, but he
because the
doesn't
video was
have to
initially
know that
because
we
of
are fucking
Corey's
each
video, and I
other.
wanted to make sure that
Yes.
his message was
Onto the
heard,
pregnant
and
meat. Oh
also
my
to bring
god.
up some other issues that I think YouTube had, and to give some sort of feedback in
Gonna
that
go out.
regard.
So,
And
love you,
since then,
baby. Love you too.
Mark uploaded a video called the Try Not to Get Age Restricted Challenge, which was a game that he recorded like months ago, but now just so happened to fit right into the stuff that was going on. So it's very, it was perfect timing for that. And then I had an eye tracker video that I was trying to get out and trying to get greenlit for a while that was proving troublesome, which I knew it would, but that I also did that video then as well, and also called it the Try Not to Get Age Restricted Challenge, just to kind of like poke some buttons and like kick a hornet's nest in a way, and kind of like test the systems in a way. And I will say, since that video went up, okay, I'll give context on the video because I did in the last one, but in case you don't know, I recorded the eye tracker video, obviously with the intent of kind of like pushing the boundaries of what the system was going to allow. That wasn't the whole point of the video in the first place. I just wanted to see what I could do and then make it a fun video and kind of like react to the salacious stuff in it and make it entertaining that way. But we had to censor it so much because it kept coming back saying that it was flagged and it was not suitable for advertisers. And I was like, you know what, that's absolutely fair. There's a lot of like nudity in it. I had to censor a lot of it. A lot of it is still implied. So there was a lot of stuff in it that I knew. I was even like willing to bite the bullet on it and say, okay, maybe we'll just upload this video and not have it be monetizable, and it'll just be a fun video that people can watch. But we kept trying anyway, and then one day, Trey was working on an edit of it to try and get some more censors in it to see what we could get away with, and I was just like, you know what, let me appeal this one first. And then when I appealed it, 2 days went by, and it came back, and it said it was manually reviewed, and that it was given the green light. So it got the green icon instead of the yellow one, meaning it was suitable for advertisers. And I thought, okay, great. It seems like the system itself auto-flagged some stuff and triggered the yellow icon, and then someone manually reviewed it, supposedly a human at YouTube, and were like, yeah, there's enough censors in this, you can get away with it. And then it was greenlit. And then I uploaded the video and called it the Try Not to Get Age Restricted Challenge. Since then, it hasn't been age restricted, but it did get flagged again, which is part of the problem that I said, and I knew uploading it that was a potential that was going to happen, and that was a reason kind of why I uploaded it again anyway after that appeal and didn't try and censor it any further, because I was like, let's just see if my theory holds water, that it can get greenlit by someone at YouTube, and then it can get flagged again later. And I brought this up to my rep yesterday because that inconsistency and saying like, well, it said someone reviewed it, and now it's saying that someone manually reviewed it again, and it wasn't deemed viable for YouTube. And I was like, why is that a thing? And obviously, he doesn't have all the answers either. And again, I absolutely love my YouTube rep. He's always fighting in our corner and trying his best for the creators. So I don't want anybody out there at YouTube to ever like get mad at him. But some of the stuff obviously can't be told to me because you can't give over the keys to the kingdom. They also don't know 100% how the algorithm works and what it's chasing and everything. And it's probably good that people don't know that, because then you can just game the system way too easily, and that brings up a whole mess of problems as well. And I think what's happening, which I mentioned in the last video, is that users flagging videos can be abused really easily. I said it before that the Corridor Digital channel got hacked, and then they got mass reported for being hacked because the audience wanted YouTube to know, hey, it's hacked, can you give it back to them? But what ends up happening then is that the system is like, oh, it's mass reported, something's going on, remove the whole channel. And I wondered how abusive that could be. And another good example of this is that Evelyn uploaded the mortuary assistant. It got flagged for the self-harm sort of themes that were in it, as did I. But after that, I think because users were flagging videos a lot, she started getting emails from YouTube being like, are you okay? Are you self-harming? Are you suicidal? Things like that. So it's hard to know exactly exactly what's going on behind the scenes and why these things are happening. But the fact, what I'm trying to boil this down to, sorry, I'm getting so rambly, my thoughts are everywhere. What I'm trying to boil this down to is that I don't like that I can upload something, it gets yellow flagged. That was totally fine, that was fair, I understood that. Then it gets greenlit by somebody at YouTube after I appealed it, and I'm like, oh, somebody manually reviewed it.
And nice tips too.
That means it's safe now. And then I upload it, and then it gets flagged again. So either people reported the video, and then it brought up attention, and then YouTube went in and manually saying they were censoring him. And I feel like that kind of mentality is dragging us away from the main issues that Corey or I or Charlie or anybody else was bringing up during this. And I want to give actual genuine feedback and criticism and possible solutions to things instead of just getting mad and yelling at people and being like, no, YouTube suck. Because, I mean, they don't want their creators to fail, surprisingly, despite what people may think. They actually want the platform to succeed and for us to earn a living on it and for our videos to do well. It's just a big system that people aren't talking to each other, and that's why I'm bringing it up, because I feel like the people who replied to Mark on Twitter didn't know his section was cut, as well as Mark didn't. And I feel like the people who were marketing the entire event and using him in the articles and using him in like the video, the trailer that they put up and like using his face everywhere, I don't think they knew that he was cut either. He still had a very tiny section in it, but his main section was completely cut out of it. And I think that that boils down to a lot of departments not talking to each other either, which just sucks, because what are we supposed to do if YouTube don't know what they're doing either? And that's why I'm trying to talk about it, to just kind of like shine a light on it, to be like, hey, you guys need to be better so we can do what we do and not be left up to a system that is so inconsistent, so unknowable, and so just out of our control that it just makes us not want to upload content or be very, very scared about the types of things that we can
gonna
upload.
fuck up my page and your
I don't have all the
page.
answers either.
Moinda.
For some people, this will just sound like
My
complaining.
page other than the motel.
Happen on the platform where
I can't afford our actual house.
Where some people, like Mark and I's videos, didn't get age restricted, but Ethan uploaded a video about his 10-year anniversary, and that got age restricted. I don't exactly know what content was in that, and I haven't had a chance to talk to him about it yet, but I'm assuming there's probably not a whole lot in it that should be age restricted. So it just feels like...
Let's pause it. Let's go to my car, then we'll drive to the motel.
Done.
Where's your husband?
He's at work. He works at the prison outside.
Cool.
He mostly spend his time there.
So he basically lives there?
Yeah.
Cool.
Do you live on your own?
Yeah, I am. I'm the boss of the fucking Reaper gang.
Cool. Here we are at the hotel.
Where you stay. Cool. Park my car here. Lock it back up.
My room is upstairs, of course.
So is this a room here?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So just one bed.
Yep.
Just like a normal hotel room would have. Cool. A good view though.
So it is.
Which, of course, shouldn't be a thing. We should all be treated fairly across the entire platform, because otherwise, what does it look like? I've done stuff on YouTube in the past. I'm a huge YouTuber. If I get treated more fairly than some other people, makes everybody look had the copyright system and we would get claimed for a song or something within a clip or whatever, normally it used to just say, this video was claimed by blah, blah, blah. And that was it. It was just a blanket thing across the entire video. People complained a lot about it. People gave feedback to YouTube about it. Now, most times you get copyright claimed, it has to tell you the specific section that is claimed. And that's great because now, as a YouTuber, I can go into the YouTube editor, which is after the video is uploaded, there's an editor on YouTube that I can go into and trim out a section of the video. It takes a couple of hours to process. And then suddenly the copyright claim gets removed, that clip is gone, the video might be a little wonky because it's not in the original edit and it's not extensive editing tools, but now at least we have an ability to chop that section out, our video is fine, goes out to everybody, perfectly monetizable again. And there are other sections of YouTube now with I saw at one point that I got balanced ads on something, so I didn't get fully ad restricted, I got claimed for something and I got ad balanced or something, I can't remember the terminology for it. And it meant that I still got to earn a portion of the video while the other person got, or somebody else got to earn a portion, or it wasn't fully demonetized. That's also a step in the right direction, where everything isn't just carpet bombed right out the gate. And I think for any content that's age restricted or ad restricted, we also need those systems in place where we should be allowed to know exactly what is getting restricted. If I get ad restricted for something, it should tell me the section that's getting restricted. For the mortuary assistant, it was obvious because it said it was for self-harm. There was an obvious section in that game that showed that, so I didn't have to guess. I can edit that out if I want. I don't know if the ad restriction or age restriction goes away. I don't know how that works, which again is a problem. But also, I feel like if we get age restricted or ad restricted or something gets flagged in that video, it should be told to us what it is, like the copyright system. So we can know what to trim out, what to fix. We can start getting better about knowing exactly what YouTube don't like. And I feel like also if users are going to flag videos, they should also have to say, especially for the more serious ones, like if there's hate speech or if there's self-harm or suicidal themes in it, I feel like for sections like that, like the mortuary assistant, I feel like the user should also have to say a timestamp for where that stuff is. Now maybe there's reasons for not doing that I don't know because I don't run the company and I don't know I don't know how any of this stuff could sort of backfire potentially, but I feel like that's a step in the right direction as well. Just clarity and communication across all systems are what we need and what YouTube need, and then everybody just kind of knows where we stand and we can move on and do content a bit more accurately and a bit more fairly. But right now we're in this sort of nebulous space where we don't know. Some people on YouTube obviously know the systems better than I would because I don't get into the weeds of it. But it's just really confusing. There's too much in it that just I don't get. And I feel like that stuff needs to change. And again, I want to make these videos to kind of pioneer some change and actually give feedback and some potential solutions to things. And that's what I hope everybody wants to do. Instead of just yelling at the problem and telling YouTube they suck, bring back the dislikes and that kind of thing. Because that's not helping anything. That's not how change gets made. Anyway, that's kind of all I wanted to say right now. Not a whole lot, but I just, for what was going on in the last week since my last video, a lot has changed, and my YouTube rep also clarified a bunch.
What's this got now?
In today's adventure, I went to war with one of the biggest outlaw groups in Star Citizen. Starting out in a galaxy full of thieves, pirates, and bandits, the odds were already stacked against me. From discovering hidden bases in the forest and raiding underground bunkers to hunting down criminals deep in space, this journey would be my most challenging yet. But my hunger for revenge pushed me to accomplish my final goal by any means necessary. And here's how it all happened.
How blunt.
Welcome to Star Citizen. Now, a lot of you guys might not know this game, but just think of it as Space DayZ. It's an open world where anything can happen at any time, and the server's just wiped. So I only have one goal right now, and that's to survive. Alright, let's see where we started at. Okay, we're at Microtech. Now, this is like an ice planet. I've only been here once before. I don't really know this area too well. I do know that the capital is New Babbage, and it's like a big city, but To get there, it would probably take us days walking from where we are. Where we are, there is some type of shelter, it looks like, and mining facility. So we're not completely abandoned in the wild, but we need to find where these shelters are. Otherwise, things are not going to end well for us. Hopefully, I don't get spotted out here. At least until I have a gun where I can defend myself. There's a guy. I don't know if he has armor or if that's just his suit. Because you can wear like undersuits and then you can wear armor. I don't know if this guy's actually geared or he's a freshie like me, but I'm going to just go my own way. I don't really want to fight somebody. He might even have a gun, so don't really want to risk it right now. Overall, it was an okay start. I had been wandering around the planet for a while now, and the sun was starting to set, which was a little bit worrisome, and to make matters worse, the wind suddenly picked up, which usually meant a storm was starting. I knew I needed to find some type of shelter soon, or I probably wasn't going to survive the night. Okay, I think that's the shelter right there. It looks like this back room is pretty empty, so I'm going to just take my chances here. If someone's camping inside here, I'm so pissed. I'm going to be so mad. I guess this is definitely the shelter. I don't know if he has armor or if that's just his suit. Because you can wear like undersuits and then you can wear armor. I don't know if this guy's actually geared or he's a freshie like me, but I'm going to just go my own way. I don't really want to fight somebody. He might even have a gun, so don't really want to risk it right now. Overall, it was an okay start. I had been wandering around the planet for a while now, and the sun was starting to set, which was a little bit worrisome, and to make matters worse, the wind suddenly picked up, which usually meant a storm was starting. I knew I needed to find some type of shelter soon, or I probably wasn't going to survive the night. Okay, I think that's the shelter right there. It looks like this back room is pretty empty, so I'm going to just take my chances here. If someone's camping inside here, I'm so pissed. I'm going to be so mad. I guess this is definitely the shelter. I mean, there's blood on this bed. Somebody actually has been living out of here. It looked like somebody had been at the shelter recently, but they hadn't looted everything. After a bit of searching, I was able to find a box with a cheap helmet and some armor inside, and there was also a handgun that somebody had left behind. I now had the ability to defend myself if it came to combat. Now all I needed was a ride out of this remote area. So I should be able to activate a beacon and usually...
Actually, let's go to my place and we'll fuck.
Fair enough.
Come on. Sorry, I changed my mind.
Oh, good. It's your car now.
Yeah, no. Well, here we are.
Nice.
I know. This is it. It's a good show here. Press play.
The rescue ship over, that's the point of these shelters, but I don't really know where to activate it from here. Might be this thing back here, I don't know. Like, what? Oh, somebody's coming in. Well, he wasn't really geared, but he did have a gun. Hopefully he was just a solo. Alright, looks like we're good. This guy only had an undersuit and a basic pistol, so he was most likely a fresh player just looking to loot like I was, but that certainly didn't mean that he was a solo. I was a sitting duck inside of the shelter, and if he did have teammates, well, they knew exactly where I was, so I quickly activated the distress beacon, and now I just had to hope that a medical ship would eventually arrive. I did notice that the weather outside had calmed down, so I decided to make my way outside to hide in the forest while waiting for an evac. Alright, I'm thinking we go up on this ledge right here, or maybe up on that rock, and we just post up and wait. The distress signal should be activated now, so all we gotta really do is see if somebody actually answers the call. But we should be relatively safe on this mountaintop here. Now we just play the waiting game. Holy shit.
I'm no bond.
Why is he turning my way? Oh, no, 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 no! Well, we're not dead, but, I'm praying we didn't miss our evac. I think a storm is about to start. It's getting, like, really windy. And I don't want to be out here. I don't know what lives out in these woods, so I'm just going to get back into the shelter real quick. And we can try calling for the evac again. I don't know if they actually ever showed up or not. Wait, is there somebody in the window? It is. He's looking outside. I think he might have called for help. I don't know if he's going to be friendly or not. That's the problem. Well, he's still sitting in the window, and there is our medic. I'm going to give it a minute and see what happens, and then I'll show myself once they're about to take off. I don't want to head down there just yet. Oh! He just got shot. What the f... Oh my god, he's looting him. That's a f***ing scummy move, honestly. Just baiting a medic down and then taking their shit. I don't have much ammo left, but I'm gonna try to take this guy out. Because I need that ship. If I don't get on that ship right now, there's no other way for me off this planet. Okay, let's go quick. Okay, I don't think it hears me. I stayed in hiding for a bit until the ship began to take off, and during this time I quickly jumped into one of the medical beds to reheal since I was severely dehydrated. It turned out that the front of the ship was locked, so for now I couldn't get into the cockpit. My only chance was to stay hidden until the hijacker eventually came out. Oh, he's coming. Okay, he's dead. No, I think he's knocked out. I don't have ammo to finish the job, but I do have another idea on how to get rid of him. Hopefully he doesn't wake up, though. Where is the ramp access on this ship? Oh, there it is. Open exterior, okay. This guy's gonna be so confused if he wakes up and he's just floating in space. He actually doesn't even have his helmet on anymore, so I don't even think he's gonna survive long out there. Anyways, at least we have the ship finally. Didn't expect to get off the planet in this way, but, you know, I'll take it. I can't complain. So the plan is to go meet up with my friend Dexter. He is on ArcCorp, and we're gonna try to basically find some type of work and hopefully get a different ship because this one's probably being tracked. So let's head over to ArcCorp.
Lobby, baby. Lobby 2, study, Morinda. Much dick have you had?
Alright, I'm in town, buddy.
13
Just 30 kilometers away.
Got us
dick.
a ship, and don't ask me how I
Now
got it.
14. Good.
How you get that?
Committed some
I know.
crimes.
What sort of crimes?
It's better you don't know, for your safety. ArcCorp was a planet of industry. It was by far the most commercialized planet in the system, with factories, commercial facilities, and skyscrapers stacked on top of each other as far as the eye could see. If we were going to have any shot of finding good work and making our way up in the system, this was the place to be. My friend Dexter had just started out nearby, so I went to meet up with him and figure out what we could do for work to start earning some money. Come on to the ship, man. Where these guys get a little suspicious. There's a bunch of security around.
What are they gonna do? Kick us out?
I don't want to find out, man.
My God, where'd you get this bad boy?
It's a long story. I'll tell you on the road.
Oh yeah, that's nice. That's real nice.
So on ArcCorp, we were offered many lines of work. We could do...
That was another survivor. They didn't make it. They ran out of air.
Have no bro.
We gotta move. Oh no! Look what he scribbled into the fucking floor.
What does he need help from?
We ran out of air. Which is what we're gonna do if we don't get out of here. No! No! Stay up there. Stay up there. I'm good. So,
Oh, no. Can you turn these off?
thought he was out of the woodwork. Cannot.
What happens if you touch it? Is there like an alarm?
I was just saying, if you touch the lasers, you ain't gonna see tomorrow. But, just watch me, alright? First one, crawl straight under the laser. Okay. Second one, see 3 lasers?
Okay.
See this little bump right here in front of me?
Yeah.
Do not hit the bump. You gotta go all the way left.
I think I can fit under that, though.
Nah, that's what I thought too. But my backpack got shredded in half. Just
Alright.
like that, but through. Now right here,
Got these boxes, a box I should say. Up on a box, we jump over. I made it. Oh, Jesus. Alright, so. See the computer?
I do.
The little monitor? What's that say?
Vehicle storage, and it has codes.
Go ahead and remember them codes.
Okay, I'll remember 8727. Let's go.
Alright. Follow me, sir.
Oh. Daylight. We made it. We're free.
I've never smelled such fresh air.
Oh man, this planet is not very hospitable looking. There she is, the rover garage.
Run, buddy. We ain't got much time. What I say? 0477.
Oh, you got it.
Get in here, man.
Let's go, let's go.
Close the door, open the ramp.
Oh. Alright, here we go.
Oh, all I'm gonna say is that we're wanted men and we may have a bounty on our heads for escaping prison, so you better be ready in the turret.
Escaping prison wasn't even the hard part. The real challenge was getting off of this isolated moon. We opened our maps and saw that there was an old emergency shelter within drivable distance. If we could just reach it, we might have a chance at calling for a ride. We had to get there quick though, because we were marked as escaped convicts now, which broadcasted our positions across space for other players to come kill us. I would call for help now, but I already know how this ends.
We're just gonna get gunned down. Buddy?
What?
Ship!
Oh, no, get in the turret! Get in the turret!
You gotta get in the
I
turret.
am. Did you see us?
I would imagine we're probably marked.
Keep going, just keep going.